Think you need to book excursions to enjoy a Disney cruise? We sailed on 2 cruises without booking a single one.
From character meet and greets to poolside fun and amazing adults-only experiences, we're breaking down everything you can do on board without ever stepping off the ship.
Let's dive in. Hey! Welcome back. In this video, we're going to get into, can you book a Disney cruise without excursions?
Yeah, we see a lot of people who get wrapped up in the hype of excursions, and while there's definitely itineraries and ports where we love doing excursions, we've also done multiple with none booked.
Yeah, matter of fact, the last 2 videos, or actually the whole series that you would see on the channel, we haven't ever taken an excursion with you guys. So we will be in our treasure series, so if you want to see that, stay tuned. But today we're going to get into, can you enjoy the cruise without them? And I think this is a great question because of the fact that you might have families out there that, one, cruises are already expensive, especially a Disney cruise.
Yeah, and it adds up.
Yeah, and so can you enjoy still going on a Disney cruise without those excursions?
And what is there to do on a Disney cruise if you're not doing excursions?
Yeah, so let's get into it.
Yeah.
So real quick, if you guys aren't subscribed yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of our future adventures. And make sure you hit the bell notification. Just so you guys know, Michelle literally went into the App Store on her phone to find that
This is my new favorite app.
I think we have a new thing that's going to be happening in our videos.
So many uses for
along with Snacks with Michelle.
Gums.
So make sure you hit that bell notification to be notified of future videos. And if you haven't already, make sure you hit the like button. That really helps the algorithm figure out who to show this video to.
Yeah.
And we'd really appreciate that. So with that, let's get into the video. So I think an easy place to start would be with those famous Disney characters.
Yes, and the really cool thing about the cruise lines is, one, they're just everywhere, but there are so many different characters that are on the ship.
Yeah, and they change outfits constantly. So like we saw Goofy one time, he was in his traditional costume. An hour later, he was in like his cruise costume. Later that night, he was in his pirate costume. It was just the coolest thing. And almost all the characters do that. They will change costumes throughout the day. And so it gets you lots of different opportunities.
Yeah, and it's cool because there's even some characters that you don't normally get to have interactions with. Like on one of our recent cruises, I think it was on our October cruise, we got to just have a full conversation with Naveen.
And it was cool.
That's not something that you get as much in the parks.
Yeah. And we ran into Rapunzel while we were going to get ice cream one time. She was just walking by. So it's really cool. And it's funny because I find myself actually enjoying to go see characters when we're on the cruise. I wouldn't necessarily, if we were in the parks, like go out of my way to go find characters. So it kind of gives a unique take on visiting with the characters.
Yeah.
So
one of the other things that lots of people love to do on any kind of cruise ship is pools. Yes, all of the pools. There's the family pools.
Big pool.
There's adult pools.
Smaller pool.
There's hot tubs.
Even smaller pool.
There's splash pads.
Not a pool.
There's water slides.
Also not a pool, but leads to a pool.
So true, yeah. But all of the spaces, there's so much deck space. And so you can even be on a lounge or watching on the funnel vision, watching a movie.
And if you don't know what funnel vision is, it's a big old screen on the pool deck where they play movies constantly. On Sail Away, they'll use it as a video screen.
Yeah, and some of the ships have lots of little pools on like the family deck. Some just have one big one.
Yeah.
Either way, there's tons of deck space.
Yeah.
And spots for you to sunbathe and watch a movie.
And Michelle mentioned there's all the unique water slides. So each ship has its own kind of unique take on those water slides. Guys, we haven't actually been on them yet.
We've never been on any of the water slides.
That's how much there is to do on these ships, though. Like, I think that's an important point.
Yeah.
We just simply haven't made time to go do that yet because we've been busy doing so many other things.
True.
Our treasure cruise, we're making a point to go on the water slide.
Yes.
So, yeah. So this is going to be a really big section. We're going to talk about onboard activities.
Yes, one of our favorites, and probably one that you see a lot in other vlogs, is trivia. There's so many different types of trivia.
Yeah.
So really, if you wanted to do a full cruise and all trivias, you totally could.
We have done that. That's, I think, one of the primary things we did on our October cruise was hit all of the trivias.
Yeah, we love it.
Yeah. And then one of my favorite things that we did on our last cruise was there's actually an animation, or technically it's a drawing class, but they call it like learn to animate. But you go to it and they have a video that you watch and you get to learn how to draw a Disney character. I did super well in drawing Goofy. Michelle tried to steal my drawing.
I'm about to put that clip in here.
Look how good Michelle did. Look at
So, it's
so funny how the handwriting in that says Michelle looks like Cal's handwriting.
No.
And you guys have a lovely day. I'll
Look
see
how
you all
good I
very
did.
soon. Make sure you take your goofies with you. They're all lining up.
I did amazing. It's a story for another day. But just know that I drew Goofy really well. But it's very similar to it was not good. It's very similar to the class that they have in California Adventure. The difference is there's just not somebody there teaching you. It's a video, but still really a lot of fun.
Yeah, and then we wrote down a list of everything else we could think of off the top of our heads.
Yeah, and mind you, this isn't going to cover. There's still things missing from this list. We just wanted to show how many things there are.
Yeah, so you can do, there's karaoke's, there's game shows, there's different arts and crafts things, there's different cooking classes.
There's like wine pairings and tastings and spirits.
There's always some kind of like sports area. So on some of the older ships, they have like a full basketball court, and they have the
like
shuffleboard.
Mini golf.
Mini
golf is super popular.
They have some foosball on some ships.
Yeah.
They have a ton of stuff. They have movie showings all the time.
Yeah, each ship has its own movie theater, and some of them actually have two of them.
Yeah.
And there's constant rotation. It's kind of cool to watch a movie on a Disney cruise because if something has premiered recently, you could actually potentially see a current movie that either has just come out or is even coming out that day for free.
Hopefully we'll get to see Thunderbolts.
Yeah, that'd be
cool. On the ship. That'd be so cool. Yeah. There's like a lot of themed kids stuff. So like obviously there's the kids clubs, but then there's also like royal tea parties that you can book ahead of time.
Yep.
But all of that is on the ship and on board.
Those are all things that you can do for free that are included.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the tea party's not free, but everything else is free.
Everything else is free. So this section's for the adults.
Yes, there's so much to do on the ships that is exclusive to adults.
Yeah.
And a big chunk of that, at least what we like to do, which I don't know what that says about us, is food and drinks.
I think that's everybody, let's be honest.
Yeah. So we can start with like the specialty dining. There's Palo, which,
by the way, if you didn't hear, we have Palo brunch coming up.
Which we're super excited about. Palo brunch is like the thing to do.
Yeah.
So we're excited to see if the hype is real.
Yeah.
And then depending on the ship, you have your fine dining restaurant. So that's either Enchante or that's Remy.
Yeah.
So
not
one or the other.
Not necessarily Kyle and Michelle. More of a Michelle restaurant experience than a Kyle restaurant.
It'll be cool to do at some point.
Yeah, some point down the line we will. And then there's lots of great bars and lounges, right?
There's so many to choose from. And it's cool because on all the different ships, there's different types of theming. So on the older ships, it's very themed, but it's not...
It's more generic. It's not necessarily super heavy Disney theming on the older ships, but in the Wish class of ships, you have Hyperspace Lounge, and then you have the new one, which is Haunted Mansion Parlor, and some of these now are taking multiple visits to kind of see everything, which is just crazy.
Yeah, it's just a fully different experience. But all of the lounges and bars have like specialty cocktails, specialty
food items,
sometimes.
Which
is really cool.
Big tip here, an adult space that a food that we like is the pretzel on the Wish class ships. Actually, I think they have it on.
Yes,
I would imagine they have them on all the ships, but the pretzel is really good at the pub. And then Michelle really enjoyed the root beer float at Tiana's.
At the Bayou.
And that's not an adults only, but it is in a lounge. So continuing on with adult experiences, one of the really popular ones across the entire Disney Cruise Line fleet is going to be the Senses Spa in the Rainforest Room.
Yes. So the Rainforest Room is an experience inside the Senses Spa where it has different showers that model different like tropics and areas and things like that. Or there's one that's like cold and
they usually different smells.
It also usually has like a hot tub with it, some day beds.
So it's is the day bed the like heated thing that you like lay on?
The heated seat is there too.
Those are nice.
And so that can vary. You can get a full length of cruise pass. Or you can also do a day pass. So
that's what we did, right?
Yeah,
we did
so if you're not sure about it, you can also just do a day pass and
test
check
it out.
Yeah.
Because for us, it actually didn't end up being something that we wanted for the whole cruise, so the day pass worked perfectly.
Yeah, it was helpful. There's also the spa, so there's tons of spa services, massages and facials and
the hot stone things.
all that. It's a part of a massage, but yes.
I've never done that. I just see the hot stones.
I know. And then, of course, one of the most sought-after adult-only spaces on any of the ships is going to be the adults-only pool deck.
Definitely. And people have big opinions about this. So a lot of folks prefer the older class ships because the spaces for the adults-only pool deck areas are much bigger.
Yeah, so you usually get a couple of pools.
Yeah.
You get many different deck spaces where there's tons of loungers, which is really nice. A couple of hot tubs usually.
Yeah, and then on the Wish class of ships, the adults-only section really kind of wraps down the side of the ship.
Yeah.
And it's directly in sun. So personally, I like to be able to have an area where I can like be in sun if I want, but then be in shade as well because it gets hot. But a lot of folks don't like the fact that how tight the Wish class ships are.
Yeah, and there's just kind of like one pretty small pool.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's an infinity pool off the back of the ship, so it's gorgeous.
It's really cool in concept.
But it's packed.
Yeah, and it's just really tight. So just kind of keep that in mind if you're booking a cruise and then that's an area that you plan to utilize a lot of.
Yeah.
Just kind of know that going in if you're on one of the newer ships.
However, both adult-only pool spaces have a bar.
That's true. So you can always get your drinks.
True.
So finishing out with a few of our favorite tips, and some of these aren't going to be new if you've watched some of our videos in the past. But we like to reiterate them because we feel like they're great points.
Yes, so the big one, especially when we're talking about activities on board, is going to be download your Navigator app.
Yeah, and use the Navigator app.
They will harass you about getting, just kidding, they won't. They will
actually harass you.
It's okay. But they will just really try to get you to download the app and use it because it really is your source of everything on the ship. So all of the activities are listed for pages and pages and pages on the app. So that's really going to be your biggest tool.
Yeah, it's kind of a lifeline for you almost. It's kind of funny because I think sometimes in Disney, there's things that you're like, oh, this is overhyped. I don't actually need this. The Navigator app, you need it.
And some of those places, if you want to go to any of those lounges that we talked about, it'll also show you what times they're open, what their menu is, and have all of that information too. So it's just really helpful for whatever you want to do.
Yeah, and that kind of leads into the next part is making sure that you kind of know what you want from your cruise when you go into it, because that's going to be able to help you prioritize the different prioritize the things that you want to do on your cruise. And so if you know that you want to do a lot and fit in a lot, you got to look at the Navigator app. You got to figure out what time things are open and make sure you're there at the right time. But if you also, this kind of leads to the last tip. If you want to have a slower cruise, have a slower cruise. Don't forget that you're on vacation. That's always my biggest tip.
So if you don't have any excursions planned, sometimes it's nice to just hang out on a quieter ship and not do anything. And that's okay.
And that's totally okay.
Order room service.
Yeah. And I think that the other thing that kind of goes with that, the last tip is that there's certain itineraries that are going to lend themselves more to doing excursions than others. So a lot of the, I feel like you can get away with it with a lot of the Bahamian and like the Caribbean cruises. There's a lot of time that you can spend on the ship versus somewhere like Alaska. You might want to do constant shore excursions or get off the ship, right?
Or a Europe trip where you're in a different country all the time.
So just kind of keep that in mind, but also just be okay with if you can't, it's totally fine. Yeah. So with that, guys, I think that wraps up another great video. We really hope you found this info helpful, and we're excited to be using it on our cruises coming up here soon.
We have 2 coming up this summer. So we have the Treasure in June.
16 days away. Oh, so close.
So close.
That one we actually have excursions for too.
Yes, which we actually haven't shown you.
Yeah, I'm excited to do that.
Yeah, so that'll be a different one.
Yeah.
And then we have our Wish cruise in July with some friends of ours.
Yeah.
That will be a little new for us.
Yeah, they are not first-time cruisers, but they are first-time Disney cruisers. So it's going to be a really unique perspective to hear their thoughts on it.
Yeah, we're going to try to do some things we haven't done yet.
Yeah.
We still haven't been to Hyperspace Lounge.
Yeah. Isn't it crazy that that will be our 3rd cruise on the Wish, and we still haven't touched everything?
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Apollo Brunch.
Ooh, I'm so excited for Apollo Brunch, guys.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not a fancy food or dinner person.
Yeah.
We've established that. But I have been excited to try Paula Brunch. And it's hard to get reservations for. Michelle was able to snag one.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, so that'll be fun. And then we're going to check out the Speakeasy.
Yeah.
No, sorry, the Speakeasy.
Yeah, don't talk.
We're not supposed to talk
It's like Bruno. We don't talk about it.
Yeah.
And then a little change here. We actually decided that we are not going to be doing our Destiny cruise in November.
Womp, womp,
Womp. Opposite of gong
I
noise.
know, I can't use my gong for it.
But we decided that we think it would be better to maybe check out some of the older ships.
Yeah.
We've been wanting to get onto some of the older ships to do some cruises, to be able to share that with you guys. And I think that would give us the opportunity to do that. It'd also make not such a big gap between July and November.
Yeah.
So our hope is that maybe we can find something in like October to go on.
Yes,
We'll
we
see.
still want to check out Lookout because we still haven't been to Lookout Key.
Yeah, that's on our bucket list. And that was, the Destiny cruise was going to go there, but we'll find another one.
Yeah.
I'm sure we will.
Yeah.
So I think with that, we're going to say goodbye and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Oh no!
Oh no! Bye.